I've never liked any of the Marvel stuff.
Oh, really? Like not at all? Any of them?
I liked the first Iron Man, and I liked Thor Ragnarok was pretty good, but mostly just because the plot was like different for once. But like it's
Yeah,
still the
but I
same
feel
formula, the same standard like Marvel schlock that I just don't understand. I don't know. It's not for me. I
it is
understand why
schlock.
it's popular. I just don't like it personally.
I feel. Are you like anti schlock? Would you say?
Sure.
Interesting.
Unless it's like
Interesting.
unless it's like a moderate amount of self-aware, but even then it's still kind of like um a joke I've heard a million times, I guess. I'd put it on that level. Like, haha, it's bad because it's bad. Or it's good because it's bad. That kind of like joke is like, I don't know, it's been run into the ground a lot for me at least.
I would say WandaVision isn't good because it's bad, although a bunch of the Marvel movies definitely are. Probably most of them, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not into that concept as much. I like it in its extremes, like I like The Room, but a mediocre movie being good because it's like turn your brain off fun is like generally not attractive to me. And most of the Marvel movies are that for I don't know, intended purposes, I suppose.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I'm very pro schlock.
oh, I
I
know.
feel like this is a great divide between us.
I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Sorry. I know you like it though. That's okay. I don't dog on anybody for liking it. I'm not like mad at people for liking Marvel movies. It's not my type of thing.
Yeah, I would say I like WandaVision. I don't know if I love it because I have like I feel like I'm gonna get burned like I did with, and I know you guys can probably dissuade me from feeling this way, maybe, but like I feel like I'm gonna get burned like I did with the Mandalorian first season, where there was a bunch of really good episodes, and then there was a bunch of just like boring, like
Like
cheesy
filler
episodes that I didn't
ones.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, filler
Did
ones.
you ever watch
That's what I'm afraid
season
of.
2?
No, that's the thing. I never watched season
Season
two
2 is so
because
much
I was
better.
burned. I know, but I just don't want to have to finish season one.
Don't. Well,
Maybe I
watch
know I
the
should. I
last two
probably should.
episodes.
Yeah, the plot of season 1 is basically non-existent up until the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like
Yeah.
it's very episodic. Like it reminds me of like Star Trek, basically, where it's just like, yeah, generally there's like an overarching thing, but it comes into play very little. Like
Okay.
most of it is just like, here's the story of this week's episode. It's kind of
Yeah.
a cool little throwback, I guess.
But that's what I didn't like about it mostly. Like the first 2 and the last 2 episodes are like really good because they like carry
Oh,
between
really?
each other. Yeah, and then they did all the episodic shit, and I was like,
I liked those episodes the most because it felt contained, and I felt like I didn't have to like remember who was who or like who the villain is or their motivations. It's like, here's um uh who's that bald comedian that I really like?
oh, Bill Burr.
Yeah, I was like, Bill Burr is on a prison ship and they're trying to get off of it. And that's the episode. And like hilarity ensues, hijinks ensue. That kind of thing is like, I think what Star Wars was meant to be presented as, not like this overarching like villain shit. Like that
Yeah.
stuff's so played out.
Yeah, like okay, so I think the reason I ended up not liking it though is because they like started off with that episodic thing, and I was thinking, oh, there's a through storyline, right?
Mhm.
And the entire time, those episodes of like, oh, it's just a new thing each week. What's gonna happen? The entire time that's going on, he's supposed to be like on a mission. You know,
Yeah.
like he's supposed to be out doing something, and it's like they just drop it. And I think that's what ended up bugging me a lot. It's like he should be doing something right now, but he's just fucking like he's just dicking around in space, saving Bill Burr with
Yeah.
this space Boston accent. You know?
Doing side quests.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing side quests.
Man, everybody knows the side quests are always better than the main storyline.
Yeah, that's what I loved about Cyberpunk. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
the
That's
side
what's
quests are
good about
so
every
good.
RPG. So I'm glad that they
Yeah.
leaned into that a little bit. But you're right. It is kind of odd how it did feel like at times they couldn't decide what they wanted. They wanted either episodic show or they wanted an overarching story. And they just kind of like I don't know, shoved it into the first part and the last part.
So the second season is more of a through story.
It's like a
I don't
than the
know.
mix.
first?
It's like so a lot of the episodes are pretty self-contained, but like they lead into each other. Like they're like, "Oh, we're going to go see this character." And then the next episode they're like seeing that character, but it's not like so straight through. It's like I don't know, like Breaking Bad or something where you won't get the episode if you hadn't watched the previous one. You could watch a random episode of the show and like kind of pick up what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly there's some episodes that like will kind of go into each other. Like a lot are more contained, but there's more of a they lead to each other better, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
can-
them
I
all
can
a lot
appreciate
more.
that.
Well, anyway, Disney is making most of the schlock now. So
Yeah.
that's how I'm tying it into their previous conversation about Marvel and how I'm tying it into WandaVision, which is what we're supposed to be talking about. But I haven't watched it. So who has watched it from the last time we talked about it though?
I think Matt and I both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about it?
I think it's good. It's cool. It reminds me of Watchmen, like HBO's Watchmen, with like how it's filming really cool, like comic book stories that are very comic booky. That I would not have expected to translate that well to film, but I like it. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I was talking about it last week. I think it's pretty good. Like I would just kind of want to like what I really want to get is your take on. Did you watch all the episodes so far?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I want to get your take on how you feel about the weird meta-ness or maybe like genre bending of the show. Like kind of how like the first 3 episodes are in a completely different genre than like what the show's turning out it's going to be in for the rest of it looks like. Like do you like that?
I do. I do like that. I'm a little worried that it could get too cheesy. Like I'm worried it could kind of jump the shark. But I feel like there hasn't been enough of that non-genre stuff, or like I guess the different genre stuff yet for me to judge how I see it going forward. So I feel like I'm a little hesitant with the show, honestly. But it's cool. It's cool what they're doing. It feels very original for TV.
Yeah, it's very and that's what I like about it. It's very I haven't watched anything like it before. Not that it's amazing in that regard, but it's very different and it's cool to see something different getting made, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also praising the concept of the show. I can't remember if it was to you guys, but I was like, I haven't watched it, but from what I hear, it sounds like it's at least different, which is good because, like, at least Disney is kind of recognizing that they've kind of run out of, like, original ideas. They've been doing the same thing for 10 years.
Yeah, they can't just keep doing superhero movies. That's what I'm excited about. I think this I mean, I don't follow all the Marvel movies like really heavily, but I am excited if that's what they're going to do, like stop making the traditional superhero movies as much and try to mix them up. Like the reports that Doctor Strange is a horror movie, that should be awesome. I hope that's the case.
Dude, I'm so excited for that. And I guess WandaVision makes me excited more for what they're going to do in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're going to really commit to the bits.
Well, I was like, whoa, the concept is kind of cool, like, and original, but then I was corrected and told that it's actually based on an existing comic book, so.
Yeah, it's like a mix. So it takes a bunch of cues from it's called The Vision, written by Tom King, that came out a few years ago. I haven't read it myself, but I've been meaning to. I think it takes elements from that where like Vision is living like a suburban life, but then I don't think the explicit like, Matt, do you think we can talk about Just like what? No, we already talked about what happened in the first few episodes. How they're like these sitcoms.
Yeah.
Like I don't think a comic has ever done that. I think the sitcom part of the show is totally new.
Okay. Well, that's good. I would like to see more of that, I suppose.
Yeah. New and interesting concepts.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Theme song.
Shouts out to the Motion Pixels podcast. Yeah, I do know Lil B. I think I know the bass god as well.
That was all the opening.
I thought you wanted to do. I thought we were gonna go back and have like a real intro.
We could do that too.
Usually the plan whenever we just start talking and forget to do it, but
yeah.
I like
fun.
that too. I'm fine with that just being the intro.
Yeah, the WandaVision intro.
The 10-minute intro where we talked about WandaVision.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, do
All
it.
If it's fine with y'all.
Well, then lead us in.
Wonderful. Because this is the Motion Pixels podcast. I'm your co-host, August Meyer. August, say hello. Hello. Joined by my co-host, Matthew Rawlings. Matthew, say hello.
Hello.
And joined once again by the based and baddest boy of comedy, Dane Kevin Cook. Uncle Dane, say hello.
What's up?
Because this is the Motion Pixels podcast. And this week, as you may have surmised, as dedicated viewers may have gathered, we will be talking about WandaVision. In addition, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon, so I want to talk about Pokemon as well. And Dane and Matt have been playing a bunch of Valheim, some sort of Viking PS2 Minecraft game. I'm interested to hear more about that. And yeah, this is the Motion Pixels podcast. What up, dudes? Have y'all been?
Sup?
What's up, dude?
Sup?
Oh,
Sup,
dude. What's up, dude?
What's all?
What's
I've been
up?
good. You said, I mean, it sounded kind of like you said crow host when you introduced yourself, so I like to imagine you're a crow in this situation, like a cool crow.
I like to imagine Crow Host as like a Pokemon who is like, he looks like Drew Carey, but a crow. He's like a host of a TV show, but a crow.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to play Pokemon
Yeah, now
a year,
of all times.
A year after?
Well, okay, first of all, I told y'all I was going to play Pokemon, and I'm a man of my word.
You're right.
Secondly, I have been just like, honestly, very anxious lately. I've had a bunch of like stuff going on, and watching MaxMofo's Pokemon card opening videos have just been like, I've been watching a ton of them and have just kind of rekindled the enthusiasm I had for Pokemon when I last played it, which is like, I guess I last played Pokemon Go in 2016, really, and I never played Sun. I think the last one I played really was Black and White back in I was in high school. That was a long time ago. I like maybe touched X or Y, but I don't remember anything about it. But yeah, I've just been having a great time, and I'm playing it differently. I'm playing it to fill out the Pokédex. I usually just like train a team of 6 to like 99 and then quit the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been having fun with that too. Like the collecting aspect of it has been cool, and the way that the general gameplay loop of Pokemon Sword, I really like with the wild area and all these new things they've added.
Yeah, collecting Pokemon has always been my like go-to activity in the game. I should say that it was kind of secondary to like training a team, like you said. But as I got older, training a team is kind of like just like a thing that I can do if I want to like just have it. Like I just have like my battle box. It's like, all right, I have that just in case like somebody wants to battle me. But the main thing I do now is collect all of the Pokemon because it's you got to catch them all. It's the whole point of the game.
Yeah, and there's so much you can do along the way of that. Like it's a huge goal, right? Like you have to catch like, what is it, like 700 or so? I don't know exactly how many are on the Galarian Pokédex, whatever.
There's
the
400
Pokédex in
yeah.
Pokemon Sword. 400. Okay.
There
That's
might
a
be
lot.
more now
And
that the DLC is out, but yeah, that's how many.
I think they added like 100 more or something like that.
Yeah. So
I'm still sad they didn't add all of them.
Yeah, it is a bummer. It is
really,
a bummer.
I mean, maybe you can attest to it, but when I played through the game, I wasn't missing Pokemon. I wasn't like, oh, that's Pokemon's not in. Like, they did a good job of choosing the ones not to include, and I wasn't like feeling that like there was like too few Pokemon in the game. Like 400 is a pretty darn good amount. But I can see how it would be frustrating to somebody who like just wants to keep collecting, just wants to keep going, but I don't know.
My hesitation with it is that one of my favorite Pokemon is Misdreavus.
Mhm.
And I missed the generation where the evolution of that came out. So I was like excited to get that Pokemon, but it's not in this Pokédex, so I was bummed about that. But it's not like a huge deal to me. Mostly, I would say there's just a bunch of Pokemon that I'm not like sold on, so it feels like I would have made some personal changes to the roster. Now, I'm not saying 400 isn't enough. I think 400 is like an insane amount.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a few
Like what?
a few that I missed. Well, like I said, Misdreavus and Miss Magus are the two that I'm thinking of, which isn't like I said, not that big of a deal for me. But some that I don't like there's just a bunch of the whatever Gen 8. I think this is the generation of the game.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We're in Gen 8.
There's a bunch of like the lower level, I guess, Pokemon that you meet at the beginning of the game that I found very forgettable. Not that they're bad, but in that sense, like there being some like forgettable new Pokemon, I would just say it would have been cool to bring some of the older ones that they got rid of
And cut the new Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs, like,
There's like 400 is a lot. Like it's kind of like at this point, Pokemon to me feels like a Smash Brothers kind of thing, where it's like this huge collection of your favorites from over the years. And yeah, I feel like they don't need to keep adding Pokemon. I think the modified versions of Pokemon that they do is really cool. There's like the Galarian Meowth.
I want more of that.
A bunch of I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. I'd kind of prefer more of that than just a ton of new Pokemon.
Yeah, expanding.
But there's a
upon
bunch
the
of
old
cool ones that I like. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good. It's a cool thing. I missed. I guess there was a couple generations where they did that,
Yeah.
and that was just an entirely new kind of feature
Mostly
to
in
me.
the previous one, Sun and Moon, they had done Alolan versions of Pokemon,
Okay.
and they kind of continued that trend with the Galarian stuff. So I'm wondering if it's here to stay, or if they were just kind of like hooked on it for the time being. The notorious thing, I mean, like I've been a Pokemon fan for years, decades
Dude,
even.
I remember. I mean, I feel like when we first started hanging out, I think you taught me how to play the Pokemon card game.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that maybe the first time we
That
met?
was yeah, I was really into the Pokemon card game back then.
Yeah.
But the trend that you'll notice over time is that they're kind of like, what are they kind of like? They're kind of like Google. Like they'll have this really cool idea, this concept, and they'll be really into it for like a game or two, and then they'll completely drop it and never implement it ever again. Like they'll just kind of like kill it immediately. They'll introduce it for like one game as like a gimmick, and then they're done with it. And that's like most recently, like Mega Evolutions is that, where it's just like, remember Mega Evolutions? Like that was the cool thing of like Gen 6 or 7, I forget which one it was, but Mega Evolutions, it's the new thing. Like all of these beloved Pokemon you love are getting like hyper forms, and it's kind of like Digimon a little bit, but it's cool. And then like 2 games later, it's gone. Like it's just gone.
But like that's something that made me kind of mad about this newer game was they used to like they would drop things, but they would carry the tech debt of it. Like, because the thing that's been coolest about Pokemon since Gen 3 was that you can transfer all your Pokemon forward.
Yeah.
And they keep a lot of the metadata that they carry. Like I remember, so like one of the gimmicks in 3 was like the contests, right? You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they could get ribbons and whatnot, and you'd have like a Pokeball the thing was in. You could transfer your Pokemon pretty far forward, and it would like keep data of where it was caught, your original trainer ID, the ribbons it had, and stuff like that. And like I think they even kept some of the like you could have moves that weren't available and like other weird things. And then in this title, they finally like axed a bunch of that. Like wasn't that a huge
that sucks.
controversy? Like that like I remember there's like you would like import Pokemon and it would be like, "Oh, yeah, this has no moves because none of this stuff is here." And like all this other stuff they just started to like clean off.
I'm not really sure about any of that, to be honest. Like, I know that, yeah, with the contest thing, I mean, like, that was like, what, 4 or 5 generations ago? So.
Oh, yeah, like, it's fine that they drop it. Like, I think it's fine, but that this game had a lot of things that signaled to me that they're finally, like, changing the way they approach these games, and they're not, like, supporting, like, not having all the Pokemon, you know? Like,
yeah.
They're finally dropping stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's basically all part of my big complaint about the Pokemon as a series is that there's no consistency, and I can't help if it's because, like rotating door of, like, devs, people come in, they're like, I have this great new idea for Pokemon. Here it is. And then they work on the game for 2 years, and then they leave, and they go work for, like, EA or something, and then, like, the new people who come along and they're like, I have a great new idea for a game. What's this old shit no one cares about? Let's get rid of it. Like, I feel like that probably has happened over like the last like 25 years of Pokemon, I think it is now. So it doesn't seem very good in the long run if you pay attention to Pokemon as a whole over this long period of time. But their individual games are good, and I don't think there has been a bad Pokemon game. At least in the main series RPG, they've all served their purpose as contained games, and they're fun, and you can, bust them out and play them casually. You can play them like hardcore, like no life it. It's great. It's fun. But as a whole, the Pokemon series has absolutely no consistency, and it's difficult to be a Pokemon fan as a result, because like if you start taking the whole series into account and like taking it seriously, it's like, man, there's a lot of like missed opportunities and like a lot of dumping of great ideas that I don't understand. Like, man, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I think unless you want to count like Let's Go, which isn't really a main series Pokemon RPG, but the last time that your Pokemon could follow you behind you in the overworld is like Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And I have no idea why they never brought that back. Except
that's such a cool little thing.
Yeah, it's such a small thing, and they have animated overworld animations of Pokemon walking in this game, yet they don't let them follow you like in the overworld. I don't really get it.
That's one of the best parts of Pokemon Sword to me is like, I feel like these gimmicks that y'all are talking about across the generations, a lot of them to me seemed like gimmicks that were like interesting features, but didn't feel supernatural to me. I feel like a lot of the gimmicks in this game feel like a really good step forward that like could signal like a continuation of like these kinds of things, like the wild area and the way that you find a Pokemon.
Yeah, that should just
like,
be how
there's
the
a lot
games
of really
are.
Cool stuff.
The routes suck.
Well,
I want more Wild Zone, dude. Like,
yeah, the Wild Zone is so cool. The way that you can see the Pokemon like walking around. I think the Let's Go games did that. And if they did, I mean, that was a great thing to keep in this new one.
The funny thing is that when Let's Go came out, I was like disappointed because I was just like, oh, wow, they're just like really milking those Gen 1ers, aren't they? They're just like, remember the first Pokemon game? Like they've been doing it for so long now. But the game as a whole had like a few concepts that I really, really liked, which one of them was overworld Pokemon and then the Pokemon following behind you. And and I was like, man, I really, really, really hope that they carry that over to the next game, because that is a really, really cool and satisfying idea. Let's do away with the random encounters in the bush waggling thing, which still is in this game, but it's like regular. I think it's like optional. Oh no, it was like a mix in Let's Go, and then they fully committed to it in Sword and Shield. I'm pretty sure there's no like random bush wigglies, right?
There are, but
they're like optional kind of, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there's some Pokemon in some areas that you can only find that way.
I see.
But
I love them chasing you.
Yes.
Yeah, dude,
it's
some of them are
great.
so aggro,
Getting
like
chased
Ty
by a
Rogue in the
Machop.
beginning.
Yeah,
dude. It's so funny.
It is really good.
And it seems like the big ones don't aggro you as much, which makes it way funnier when these little guys are just like running after you.
Yeah, false confidence.
It's cool. Yeah, and then the camping aspect of it, like Dane, I think we should, Matt, if we could link this somewhere, but Dane's review that he wrote of Pokemon Sword and Shield mentions how the camping aspect feels really natural in like the wild area setting. Like it was a really cool way to, I don't know.
Most of my time
like
in the game is
of the
spent.
Gameplay.
Most of my time in the game is spent in the wild area. Like I don't really go into cities that much because there's not really a reason to whenever you're camping. So like whenever in older Pokemon games, right? Like you would go back to cities and stuff to heal your Pokemon, but you don't have to do that in this game. You can just camp and do the same thing. So it's like, it feels a little bit more like the anime in that way. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the anime, but like the way Pokemon trainers are kind of like shown to be in that game are kind of like vagabonds almost. Like they roam from city to city, like defeating Pokemon trainers and catching Pokemon and training Pokemon and stuff like that. Like they're basically camping the entire time. So for them to implement that in a Pokemon video game finally is like, it feels like I don't know, it's the thing that we didn't know we needed, but now that we have it, it's kind of like, I hope it's here to stay. But like I said, because of the inconsistencies of Pokemon mechanics and stuff and gimmicks being dropped like 2 generations after they're introduced, like I have a feeling that most of the stuff that I like about Sword and Shield will probably be gone, but who knows? That's just me being negative, I guess. Like, but I really do think it's like, it would be foolish of the Pokemon company to go back on a lot of these ideas, because like it feels like almost regressive to go back to the only the waggling bushes, or to like get rid of the wild area. Like it doesn't make any sense really, because it's like, man, this is like so much better for the Pokemon game. I don't know why they would ever go back.
Yeah. Side note, this is why Temtem sucks.
Wait, I thought you guys really liked Temtem.
No, we were talking. I mean, it was like enjoyable, but we both dropped it pretty quick, and it's because it's literally just 3rd or 4th gen Pokemon trying to be an MMO, but not really. So it's just weird. But it's like it's just old Pokemon with like a slightly, like the thing they updated was like the battle system. But that was about it.
Okay.
Like everything else feels very, it's very just like cut from Pokemon 3 or 4. And not none of the other cool stuff that's like this game, you know, wild area, awesome, camping. I didn't like it, but I can see why it's cool, and I bet they keep it at least like the petting of your Pokemon, because that's cute, and like
it's more of like a role play thing.
It's fun, yeah.
It's not really like needed, but it is more. It makes the role play aspect of it a little better, I think, because like I don't know, it's interesting. They could definitely go do without it, but I think that it's like, why would you get rid of it if you're going to keep the wild area? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like how it's kind of like a feel good feature, but it also benefits like your Pokemon. Like you can like get them XP and heal them and stuff with it. It's just, it's awesome. It's awesome.
There are so many memes like using that system too, with Pokemon interacting with each other and doing weird shit. Like I've seen so many. I follow a lot of Pokemon accounts, and it seems like a good like 25% of the like meme videos that I see are from watching Pokemon in the campsite like interact with each other. I think I saw one pretty recently where they had like both Groudon and Kyogre in their campsite, and like they walk up to each other and they just like say hi to each other and then they walk away like immediately. Like
a funny thing, I saw my Dreadnought, which is like the big snapper turtle. I threw it a ball to play with, and it just like it caught it with its mouth and like destroyed the ball.
That's awesome,
dude.
Whereas every other Pokemon that I've seen catches it and brings it back to you. Like it doesn't bring.
That's
it back.
cool. Like that they went out of their way to include that. That's funny.
I love Dreadnought's baby form. What's that thing called? Snapper?
Oh, Churtle, something like
dude,
that.
Dude, it looks so stupid. I love it.
Choodle, I think.
Yeah, Choodle.
It's so dumb. It's so funny the jump. Like I feel like maybe there's older examples of this, but there's a lot of funny jumps between first and second evolutions in this game that I've seen, where I would think there would be a middle state. Like I caught this Pokemon called a Toxel, which is like, it looks like a purple salamander, like baby wearing a diaper. like a humanoid salamander, and then its immediate next evolution is like a rock star, like 6'5", like electric salamander.
Oh,
Like a full-grown
yeah.
man.
I love
There's
that
no
guy.
adolescent. He's awesome, yeah, and his like I feel like there's kind of a spottiness to the animations, especially in the campsite, but his animation specifically, like he has this like swagger as he walks around. It's really funny to watch. Yeah, so there's just there seems to be a lot of cool details that I've really enjoyed so far, along with the collecting aspect of it. It's just been a really really positive experience for me, and it's reminded me just how cool Pokemon is.
Can I brag to you?
Yes, please.
I have a living dex of all of the 400. Do you know what a living dex is? Any chance?
Yeah. What can you explain the difference between the living dex versus like the national dex?
So yeah,
the,
like
Galarian?
when somebody completes their Pokedex, it means that they at one point had a Pokemon, had every Pokemon in their possession, even for 1 second. So like you could complete your Pokedex by having somebody like trade you the Pokemon, then you give it back to them. Or you could have like say you wanted Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise in your Pokedex. You could get Squirtle, you could evolve them into Wartortle, and then you could evolve that same one into Blastoise. You now only have a Blastoise, but you have all three of those Pokemon in your decks. What I do is I go out of my way to make sure that I have the physical Pokemon in my possession for every single Pokemon. Like, for instance, if I want Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise in my Pokedex, I make sure that I have Squirtle in my box, Wartortle in my box, and Blastoise in my box. So I need 3 Squirtles. I evolve one of them once, and I evolve one of them twice. So, like, if you go into my box, I have literally every single Pokemon in order in my box, right?
I love that. That's what I aspire to.
Yeah, see, that is like, it's not required, but it's just that extra challenge. And I think that, I don't know, I've been playing for so long, and I've completed so many Pokedexes that's just like, I have to do that now because it's just like, I don't know, might as well. Like, it's more challenging, but it's also just kind of more fun whenever you think, oh God, I need not only one of these rare Pokemon, I need 3 of them so I can have all of his evolutions and stuff like that.
And you're not just like checking off a list by doing that. Like playing the game, like now that you actually have every single Pokemon, you can go and experiment and play and level up every single one of those Pokemon.
It's true, yeah. And I'm also a great resource for anybody who needs like specific Pokemon. I can trade it to them, they can breed it and then trade it back to me and stuff like that. Like I have a replica of every Pokemon for anybody, really. And
oh, dude, I'm 100% going to hit you up.
And it's great because I'm kind of future-proofing myself as well, because now that I have a physical copy of every Pokemon, from this point on, all I have to do is just get the living dex for the next generation, and then now I just have all of the Pokemon ever.
That's what bummed me out about it, because I had a living dex up to black and white, and I was sad that it was like, oh, I guess that doesn't matter as much. You know,
why wouldn't it matter? I mean, you can. It would take some finessing, but you could transfer all of those Pokemon into the recent Pokemon bank storage or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but it costs money.
Yeah, what is that?
It's dumb.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's like a
It's like $5 a year or something.
It's well, I thought it was more than that, wasn't it? I don't know. It was
No.
more than I wanted to pay for cloud storage of my Pokemon. It's like if I want to have a living dex, an actual like everything living dex, I need to keep them in a phone app that I pay. Yeah, my Pokemon cloud storage. You know, like that just feels weird to me.
It is nice. It's nice.
It's a little silly, but yeah.
It's
a
weird to
little
think
silly.
about. It is weird to think about, but it is very useful because there are so many Pokemon games, and it did feel kind of bad before that system came along that all of your Pokemon were trapped on this disc or this game cartridge, and in order to transfer them, you had to do that one at a time over, Wi-Fi or whatever, and it was such a pain in the ass, and it was basically not worth it. Now it's actually like you just wait like 5 minutes and it's all complete.
Wait, you can transfer them faster than one at a time?
No, they're like data points, really. I mean, like we've evolved past that point in our technology. Like,
oh, I see.
You can just you can hit transfer all Pokemon, and then it'll just put them all into your storage. Like,
dude,
it takes like a couple minutes, but it just does it all at once.
Okay, it is $16 for a year of Pokemon.
Really,
storage.
I feel like it was less than that when I signed up.
I think that was
Maybe
bank. Because
Oh,
that was
okay.
the old one. Yeah, they made a new one with this. It's all weird.
Called Pokemon Home, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drama that came out with this game. I remember all this.
See, and that's why I'm having such a good time. I feel like I missed that whole drama, and I'm just out
It
here on
does
my own
help.
having a great time.
It does
Oh,
help.
yeah. Well, like the game was like I almost didn't get the game because of the drama. I got it. I had a good
That's
time.
so sad.
I had like some of the stuff, it's just like shitty business practices. It's like,
Yeah, but
all
I
these-
mean, I don't know. People gonna really let that like ruin their experience of the game? It's like Cyberpunk, kind of in the same way, where it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't agree with like this corporate decision, so I'm not gonna play the game that the people who were in charge of the decision weren't even like a part of. Like, you're punishing like the wrong people, I think.
I mean, if you don't buy a game because you don't like the company, I think that's fine. I think the issue is if you buy the game anyways and then hate the game because of those decisions that weren't even in the game or that didn't impact the game for what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's like hating, it's like I don't know, for like Cyberpunk, I guess there's not a good example. But it's like, if you say my least favorite part of Pokemon Sword was the fact that Pokemon Home sucks, that's stupid. Or I don't know, even
Yeah,
maybe
that's like
even
optional, but
yeah, or like not liking Pokemon Sword because it doesn't have all the Pokemon I think is also kind of dumb because it's like
Yeah.
you got to take that aside. Like, don't get the game if that bugs you, but like that shouldn't. There's definitely other flaws with the game.
Yeah,
it's mostly the
kind of
online stuff.
frustrating.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, before we
Some of the online stuff is cool, but
in concept,
it's disappointing. It's disappointing to me how similar this game. There's a bunch of very cool new stuff, and the tried and true Pokemon method is great, but it does kind of feel like I'm playing a game for babies
Yep.
at some points. You know, when
yeah.
I'm playing this game, like, I don't know what the solution to this is, but I would at least like the next generation to, I don't know, respect my having played any video game, you know, in my life.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
You don't even
That's
need to
been a
grind in this
complaint
game.
since. Yeah. Wait, there wasn't what?
I felt like I didn't need to grind at all in this game. Like sometimes you'll hit a point where you like need to,
Yeah.
grind it out. And I feel like
Oh
this
yeah,
one,
I don't think I've lost any battles
yeah.
yet.
That's been a
Like
complaint.
maybe on in the first piece of grass I did, but then after that, no, yeah.
People have been making that complaint for, I think, the last like 2 generations. I don't know what happened, but at some point they started like really toning the difficulty back, as well as like really starting to handhold. It started to become really, really apparent in Sun and Moon. I don't know if anybody out there has played Sun and Moon, but man, those games really, it's like hilarious almost. Like,
Yeah, I quit super early.
because so many times you'll be walking down a road and a guy will walk up to you and be like, hey, did you know that if you keep walking down this road, you'll be going the right direction?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And
like-
then you walk 10 feet
Yeah.
and then another guy's like, you're going the right direction, keep it up. And like, it's like, dude, just let me fucking play. Like, it's like so annoying. And I can't help but wonder if like, I don't know if they got like a bunch of complaints from a bunch of like 6-year-olds complaining to their moms, be like, this game doesn't, I don't know where to go. Like, I don't know who has a problem going anywhere in these games. Like, the maps are very small, like, as far as like open world games go. They're very linear. They've always been linear. You don't need like people to interrupt you to tell you what to do. And I felt like the tutorial for at least Sun and Moon, the tutorial part of the game, it felt like it lasted like 3 hours, like, of the game.
Yeah.
Where I felt like they were still teaching me how to like use moves and like type advantage. And I was like, okay. And I remember on the Pokemon Reddit at the time, there was this like really upvoted post where they're like, in future Pokemon games, please let there be an option where you can select, I've played a Pokemon game before, you don't need to tell me any of this. And then for the rest of the game, they just don't tell you because like it's just so unnecessary and it like slows the game down. It's annoying. And they kind of started, it was kind of prevalent in Sword and Shield as well, but it was not nearly as bad. So I don't know if they just toned it down because of that or whatever, but it was still annoying. I definitely felt it.
So I wanted to ask you guys if I remember my biggest complaint with this game, and I wanted to see if you guys picked up on it. There's a lot of cutscenes in this game, right?
Quote unquote, yeah. There's like they've been doing this fake cutscene thing for the entire series, and it was cute when your little guy was like a little like head that like ran around, a head with like legs that ran around, and like your character would like walk up on a track, and then another character would walk up on a track and then walk up and say something.
Well,
You're like an amusement
yeah,
park.
but it's
Yeah.
like now they got like camera angles and stuff, and like they have sound
Yeah.
effects and music, and it looks good, but there is no voice acting, and yet the characters' lips move and there's subtitles, and it's the
Yes.
most bizarre thing because there's
And
sound effects.
They all have English accents that you have to read. You can't hear them.
Yeah, you don't hear the accents of anybody, but then in the sound effects of any of these scenes, you hear people making noises, but not with their mouth. So it's like there's this. I might ruin this for you. No, and it's nothing big. It's nothing big. There's like,
I mean, I'm not into Pokemon Sword for the story.
Okay.
So I mean, I
Th-
really don't care.
there's a gym where the theme of it is it's a band, and you walk up and like the gym leader's is playing music, and you walk up and there's a cutscene where there's like music going, and you hear the guitars, and she's singing into a microphone, and all the sound of the music there except the vocals. Those are just gone, and you can hear her tapping her foot. Like there's no.
It just feels cheap.
Yeah, it's weird. It's bizarre. It's like
Especially because Pokemon isn't Pokemon the biggest just like intellectual property in terms of like global revenue.
It doesn't even matter if
Isn't
it's big. It's like so many games have full voice acting now. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
You know?
It feels like a weird transitional period that we might look back on and be like, yeah, that was like when they were starting to experiment with like the 3D camera stuff, but they hadn't gotten down one voice acting or like completely just animate a cutscene. Like, why do you have to use the in-game character models and have them walk like in the map and stuff? And I don't like, just animate the cutscene. Like, just pay somebody to animate a cutscene and then show me that. Like, that's fine. Just do that. But they haven't done it, and I don't know why, but I have a feeling that eventually they'll cross that bridge when they come to it, but hasn't happened yet. And by the way, you guys mentioned like, oh, every other game does this. And I think I mentioned this in text earlier, but like people don't understand like that the Pokemon RPGs like are definitely not given the resources that are required to make the kinds of games that people want, because the Pokemon RPGs like just don't make as much money compared to the other things that the Pokemon IP brings in.
Yeah,
And
but they
whenever,
make
like-
so much more money than games that have full voice acting, you know? Like, but
Well,
what this
the
game sell
Pokemon is a
12 million
company,
units?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Pokemon
not
is a
saying the whole
company,
company. Yeah, Pokemon's one of the most valuable franchises in the world, but also these games are highly successful and make a fuck ton of money, and they can afford way more than they develop it.
Oh, they can, yes, but as far as like the other things that they're making money off of, like plushies or like the movies
Yeah.
or whatever, it's like pennies. It's like peanuts, basically. Like, and so like whenever the people who distribute funds throughout like the Pokemon franchise or whatever sit down and they're like, okay, so how much money goes to this? How much money goes to this? They don't give, in my opinion, they need to be giving more of that cut to the RPGs. But because they don't bring in as much money compared to the other ones, they're just like, oh, we'll just keep giving them what we've been giving them. And
Oh yeah,
they'll
that's
keep bringing the same
100% what it
thing.
is. It's just
Yeah,
dumb.
they gotta like increase the budget for those games so that it can actually like show in the product. But because the product will sell regardless, I think that there's not really much of an incentive for them to do that.
Of course there isn't. You know, that's why it's been the same. I guess that's not as true anymore, huh? It's a lot different now. For a while,
It's been
it's the same game.
getting
Yeah.
better technically, but I mean, like there are certain aspects of it, like the cutscenes, that are
Yeah.
suffering because they don't have enough money to pay people to just animate cutscenes, or they don't have enough money to pay voice actors and stuff. So
Or just take the voice lines from the anime that's already made. You know.
sure,
Okay, guys, is it crazy? Is it crazy to think that the advancements that Pokemon made into Pokemon Sword and Shield could result in like the next Pokemon game having like decision trees, like a richer RPG experience?
No.
Do you think there is a world where like
No.
Pokemon really
No.
changes but keeps like the collecting and the battles?
Unless the only way that would happen is if Pokemon somehow woke up from whatever dream that they're dreaming, that the only people that play their games are like 10-year-olds. But that's not going to happen because, I mean, it's evidenced in their games that they think that only 10-year-olds play their game. But they've been making these games for 25 years. The people that play their games are like of all ages. A lot of people just our age. So it's just, I don't know. It's like weird that they don't seem to recognize that fact or don't want to admit it. Maybe the games, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't have the numbers in front of me. Maybe they do. And they're just like, yeah, an overwhelmingly amount of like children play this game. So we have to like make sure that we're not making the games too crazy. Because I would like that too. I would like decision trees. I would like more RPG experience than just hitting yes or maybe. And, but I doubt that that'll happen. Like like Temtem and like the Pokemon RPG or like there's like a Pokemon MMO that's like made a fan made one that I think got shut down.
I heard about that.
The Nintendo shut down, of course. But like people have attempted to make like more complicated or complex Pokemon games that are like complex in the way that they feel like they should be, because like the battling system and the crazy amount of movesets and like the way that like battling in particular works is actually very complex and kind of like takes a lot of like game knowledge to be good at, and that is not like designed for children, clearly. Like at least the advanced battling. So I don't know if that's just like an accident that happened, like kind of like Melee becoming a competitive game where they're just like, let's make a party game. Oops, we accidentally made like one of the best fighting games of all time. Whoopies. And I don't know if that was like an accident on Pokemon's part, but it feels kind of like a betrayal to the entire series that one aspect of the game is like complex and has like a thriving like competitive scene, and yet the games themselves are like for babies, and I don't really know why that is.
Well, it's 'cause
I
they
wish
can
that
both
they would like
exist.
consolidate the fact, huh?
They can both exist. You know,
They
like I
can
think that's
both.
a good part about it.
Yeah, they can, but I wish that, I don't know, that they would increase the not only the difficulty, but just kind of like decrease the hand holding that's involved, and I don't know, just make the stories a little bit more challenging, I suppose. But I mean, like, it's asking a lot. I know it is. And it's like,
I just think that like
all
a
a dream.
Pokemon game that the world really feels like lived and breathed in would be what I really wanted. And that doesn't seem like incompatible entirely with the core mechanics of Pokemon. But like you're saying, it's just like, it feels like you're on like an amusement park ride or something, when like every time you're walking down a street, everyone you meet is just like, hey, I know who you are, where you're going, and why you need to get there.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid.
Yeah, it is silly.
And that doesn't feel, I don't know. It's just, man.
The design of the cities is like amazing. The design of the new Pokemon, I really like a lot of them. A lot of people were
Yeah.
giving them shit, but I mean, there hasn't been a Pokemon generation where I look at the majority of the Pokemon and say like, these are all terrible ideas, except for maybe third gen. I know there are probably a lot of third gen people out there who really like third gen Pokemon, but for the most part, the majority of those Pokemon are kind of bad. But
I love
What,
third gen.
What starter?
Sorry.
What starter did y'all get in Sword and Shield? You both played Sword or Shield, or which one did you play?
I played Sword.
I played Shield, yeah. And I have to look up the name because I forget.
I think I had the turtle. Was there a turtle? What was the blue thing?
There was
I
there was
got,
like a
Grookey.
frog.
Oh yeah,
Grookey, yeah, me too.
what I did is I got the frog and I found the turtle and I wanted that to be my starter, so I used that instead.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt too. That's how I felt too. But I got Grookey.
Yeah. Grookey's the coolest one. Although I will say that Scorbunny's final evolution is the coolest of the 3 final evolutions.
Yeah, I was in reading your review. I picked Grookey and I got Rillaboom, the 3rd evolution, and I love it. It's this like giant drummer gorilla. But hearing about like Scorbunny's final evolution, like kicking a fire soccer ball around, sounds really dope.
Yeah, I like the concept a lot. It's cool. A few of my favorite Pokemon are that. Oh, hold on. I don't want to mess up the names. I don't want to just describe them. Hold on.
I think there's Scorbunny, and then there's Vuvuzela Rabbit, and then there's Supreme Store Employee Rabbit.
Yeah.
Dude, it's all about Choodle. That's the only one I care or remember.
Yeah, dude, Choodle, man, dude, Dreadnought. To me, it feels like the leap from Squirtle to Blastoise.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean? It just feels awesome.
Well, I mean, it's even better because Choodle looks so ridiculous. Looks so
Yeah,
fucking stupid.
he's a little squirt.
Well, he's just got this dumb face and he has like the horn that looks like the dunce hat, you know? Like
it's the best. It's the
yeah,
best.
it's great. And then he just turns into this like giant, and I like the typing. He's like rock water, right? Or groundwater.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the paradoxical typing or whatever.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Corviknight is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I think he's really cool.
Corviknight, he's like a medieval night crow.
Yeah, he's like he's a crow knight basically. And he's like really good too. He's like one of the better battler Pokemon as well, which is a beneficiary part of him. Everybody loves Wooloo. That was a big popular.
Oh my god, so cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's just White Mareep. Yeah, I'm a big Gen 2er. I'm a huge fan of the second generation. So I thought that was pretty funny.
What are y'all's history with the series? Like, is there a reason why? Like, is Gen 2 where you got in? Do you have like a special nostalgia for it?
Gen 2 was the first Pokemon game that I started to take very seriously, like Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Yeah, me too.
And then I kind of fell out of the series for a bit. And then when the remakes of Gen 2 came out, that's when I got back into it. So it's like I experienced Pokemon kind of with like not fresh eyes, but like with a serious demeanor for both iterations of the second generation games. Plus, I mean, everybody will make fun of me for it, but like there's 2 regions and they've never done that again. And I think that adds so much to the game. Like, it's just like, imagine playing a Pokemon game where there's 2 maps, like 2 regular game sized maps, and you get to play both of them. You get to battle all of the generation before you use gyms. You get to go through basically the same path except like reverse, I think. And you get to fight your previous self at the top of Mount Silver, which is like red, which is like, I think until very recently was like the hardest NPC in any game because he had like a level 88 Pikachu or some shit.
Whoa.
But like the whole concept of Heart Gold, Soul Silver with the Pokemon falling behind you, the 2 generations, I don't know. Heart Gold, Soul Silver is just like one of my favorite games of all time, let alone Pokemon games. So
yeah, it's
I'm just really into the Pokemon that are featured in that game. I think Gen 2 has a lot of really cool and creative Pokemon as well. It's cool, like Mareep and Ampharos, which is like one of my favorite Pokemon as well. Yeah.
I think Misdreavus is from
yes,
Gen 2
and
as
I'm
well.
glad you brought Misdreavus up because back when I was into the meta game of like battling Pokemon back then, what was it? It's Ghastly, Haunter, and then Gengar. Yeah,
Gengar.
So Gengar was like the go-to ghost poison, and it was really, really powerful. He had a huge special attack and speed. And then I was like, well, I don't want to use Gengar. Everybody uses Gengar, so I'm going to use Misdreavus. Plus, he doesn't have the poison type, so he's not weak to ground. And so I would use Misdreavus instead, and I kind of grew attached to using Misdreavus because of that. However, I've never heard of anybody who likes Misdreavus, so I was wondering why you like Misdreavus.
Oh, really?
Misdreavus, I just love, I mean, like my name on social media or whatever is Ghost Dev. I just love like ghost stuff. So ghost Pokemon are just like always been like my favorite type. And I just thought Misdreavus looked really cool in when I played Silver. And there was I played the original Silver, and there was like a cloning kind of hack you could do where you like shut off the Game Boy Color while you were saving like a move of a Pokemon into a box or something.
Yeah.
And I just made an entire team of like level 99 Misdreavuses. And it was, I don't know, it's just the experience I had in Silver that I'm nostalgic for.
Yeah.
So that's why Misdreavus is my favorite.
I see.
Yeah, Misdreavus is pretty cool.
It's cool.
I like the necklace.
Yeah, I think it's just a cool looking Pokemon.
Yeah.
Cool looking ghost lady.
I agree with Dane that Heart Gold, Soul Silver, best Pokemon games, and Gen 2 is like the best game. But I really like 3's Pokemon design. That's like my favorite for
That's interesting.
that stuff. But
I never played that one.
really? Dude, Mudkip.
Yeah.
For some reason, Gen 3 just stands out to me as like almost all the Pokemon are like kind of off looking to me. They don't look like real Pokemon.
Cool.
Maybe that was because you know what it was, and it's probably all harkens back to my history with the series. I stopped playing a little bit before Gen 3 came out. Like I was really into Gold and Silver, but then like as I started to become like a teenager, I think a lot of my friends were just like, yeah, Pokemon's for babies, I'm not gonna play it anymore. So I just kind of followed suit. And then so I just didn't play a lot of Gen 3. And then when Gen 4 came out, I didn't play that either. But then whenever they remade Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I was like 20 and I was just like, oh yeah, I loved Pokemon growing up. I'm going to like replay those games because they're remaking it, which is like, I think the first, or no, they remade Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah.
But that was like the first time I was like interested in playing one of the remakes because I was like, that was like my favorite game growing up. I'm going to play it again. And then like rekindled my love for Pokemon like about, I don't know, 7 years after I'd kind of fallen out of it. So like when I was a teenager, I wasn't really into Pokemon at all. But then like during my adolescence and then adulthood, that was like when I just randomly decided to become a huge
That's
Pokemon
funny.
fan again.
It was
So
always
like
my
I
hidden
kind of
passion.
skipped it. And because
That's exactly how I feel.
and because technically Gen 4 was when the remake of Heart Gold Soul Silver was taking place and they included a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon in Heart Gold Soul Silver, I had felt a little bit more kinship with that generation than Gen 3. And for some reason, whenever I just go back and look at like a list of the Gen 3 Pokemon, a lot of the Pokemon from that generation just like feel like fan-made Pokemon to me. They don't feel like real. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Feeling that I get.
Yeah, that's funny. I think I've played all of them. I never like dropped out because I would my friends when they started to do the Pokemon's for baby things. I was like, yeah, and I would just play it in secret. Not tell 'em.
Yeah, man. Ever since I've known you, both of you guys. Ever since I've known y'all, you've already been heavily into Pokemon, and I've kind of stumbled into this cloud of enthusiasm.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I remember
Interesting.
when Black and White came out when we were in high school. Do you remember that feature where your DS, the Street Pass thing, and like you would tag, it would like find, I forgot what it did in that game, but like you would see people's trainer cards. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I remember just going around school, everybody had their DS in their pocket for like 2 weeks and you would like Street Pass all these people. That was awesome. That was a good time.
And like conventions, Street Pass was so fun.
Oh yeah. Like Comic-Con. That was great.
Oh my god, it was the coolest.
I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah,
they
the
made
Street Pass stuff. I forgot about the Street Pass stuff. That was
Yeah,
good.
dude, the Street Pass just for the 3DS, not even Pokemon, but just the built-in
Yeah.
3DS feature. That was so cool. That like going to Comic-Con was like it was just, overload. It was amazing. It was the only time that feature was ever like really useful.
Oh, one more thing about Heart Gold Soul Silver that was awesome was the Pokewalker.
yeah.
Because,
Oh my
that
god,
was-
I forgot about
that was so cool because I worked at Safeway. Yeah, I worked at Safeway at the time. And so like I would walk around at work with the Pokewalker on and I would feel like I was being productive. I was like, yeah, I'm training a Pokemon right
catching
now.
Pokemon.
Yeah, and I would be excited. I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna check my Pokewalker and see how much the experience I got. And I don't know, it was like kind of almost like a precursor to Pokemon Go, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what's cool is you can do that with Pokemon Go now, but I don't know, it's not as exciting because it's like way slower because it's just like stupid candies, you know?
I think you can still do that with Sun and Moon if you have the Pokeball controller. I think there's
Yeah,
a feature
yeah.
where you can like
Oh,
bring a Pokemon into
yeah, but that's
that.
like a
Mhm.
$60.
I
have
have that.
that.
I bought a used.
I have. I'm
me too.
looking at it right now.
I've
It's
never
hanging
used
up.
it. I've never used it. I
used it a few
it's probably
times.
Super out of juice.
I've used it a couple
Uh,
times. It
If I
lost
could do
its
that, that'd
novelty.
be cool.
It lost its novelty once I stopped having like a job where I went and walked around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool like little add-on it felt like next gen at the time. It was cool back in the year 2012.
Oh, man. God, that was so long ago now too. Guys, we're all old. Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird
You
how
are.
time progresses in a linear fashion?
I do not like it.
It should stop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool if it's so far, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I hear it gets worse.
I'm not sold on that. I think that's might be a bummer. So far, so
yeah,
good.
I'm kidding. I think it gets worse for your body, but maybe not for your mind. Mind gets better, body gets bad.
or for my Pokedex. Yeah. So yeah, Pokemon's good, man.
Yeah,
I agree.
Pokemon is good.
Oh,
man.
okay, Dan. This is something I was curious about. So you've worked a few times with iDubbbz doing things on YouTube. But have you ever worked with MaxMofo? Because I know like
No.
you're both in a Pokemon. I think like that'd be really cool if y'all did something.
I guess,
Maybe that's
but
just
I
the
mean,
fanboy
I'm
in
just
me.
kind of casually into it as far as like my professional life goes. Nobody really, I don't make Pokemon videos.
Yeah.
I mean,
considered
like I've connected with him on Pokemon before because we both like Pokemon, but I mean, like I've only had a few conversations with him. I don't really know the guy very well. He occasionally
Okay.
shows up on my DMs to compliment me on random things or likes one of my tweets from time to time, but he's not. I don't know. I feel like I used to talk to him more back when Ian and Max used to talk more. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that was, back in the what people would call the golden age of iDubbbz and that group of people.
Yeah, as I've been watching all these Pokemon card opening videos, I keep getting recommended that older stuff, and I remember when all that was happening, but I haven't like revisited any of those videos in a while.
Yeah, that was they made some pretty funny videos together. I mean, like Filthy Frank and MaxMofo and iDubbbz in particular, those three are very funny together. And I hope one day that they can reunite again. I mean,
well, I heard in one of the more recent MaxMofo videos, he was saying that they had filmed something or were about to recently, but then when Ian went to Australia, I guess he like got sick and it might have been COVID, so they had to stop filming.
No, what happened was he went to Australia and filmed a few things, and he got sick from picking up roadkill.
No way, really?
Yeah, there's a video on Ian's channel about it.
Yeah, I remember that video, but he really got sick from that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like
unsurprising.
Who's to say that, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't remember if it was confirmed because he was picking up roadkill infested with bacteria all day, but I mean, it's kind of the writings on the wall, I think. He had to go to the hospital and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's probably why other videos that they might have had planned didn't fall through at the time. But it was just with Max. I'm talking about, like, I hope someday that they can get Filthy Frank, aka who's now a very successful musician. I hope that they can get him and Max and Chad and like all that. But Ian and Chad obviously don't really like each other that much, and I don't know. It seems unlikely.
This is yet another tangent, but just speaking of Joji, who I really like Joji's music. But that reminds me of I had no idea this existed, but you right before the podcast in a PPC, you sent like this trailer of Post Malone who's gonna do a concert in Pokemon.
Not in Pokemon. Apparently, I looked into it a little bit after I sent it because I just laughed that I was just being fed this information randomly with no context.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yes, but I looked into it a little bit, and I'm sorry I didn't bring you in on it until now. But the 25th anniversary of Pokemon is coming up, and they're going to have like a virtual concert to celebrate it. I think Katy Perry is confirmed, as well as now Post Malone is like, there's an official trailer featuring him. So I think that they're going to have something along the lines of, did you ever see the virtual concert that they held inside of Roblox with Lil Nas X? I have a feeling it's probably going to be along those lines, except like much better production because it's the Pokemon company and they can pull that off. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be pretty funny, and I'm actually looking forward to it.
What if the concert is like the rock concert Matt was describing in Pokemon Sword, where Post Malone's character model gets on stage, there's instruments, but then it's just a text box?
Yes. It just shows his lyrics on screen.
Yeah, he's like screaming into the mic, but you can't hear anything.
Like a rock star.
That'd be so sick. Honestly, I would love that. That'd be kind of like that's kind of a ballsy move.
I've been catching Pokemon and training them. I feel just like a Pokemon.
Yeah, that would be, I'd be into that.
Right when I found out that Post Malone was going to be doing a concert at a Pokemon thing, I'm like, how much is he going to have to edit his lyrics for this audience?
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
Because
they're all over the radio. I think there's got to be popular.
I guess, but even for the
others.
radio, I mean, he still like touches on touchy subjects that I would imagine is probably not appropriate. But I don't know. We'll see. Who knows what the set list is? Maybe he will do some covers of some Pokemon songs. I hope he does the poker rap.
Oh, the poker rap. That'd be cool.
He better do the and now I'm gonna be disappointed if he doesn't.
Wait, what's the Poke rap?
Electro Diglett, Nidoran Menki. You never heard the Pokemon rap?
Is it from the show?
Yeah. From the very first season of the show, in between. Well, I mean, I guess it's in between episodes now that it's on Netflix. But back before, when it was just airing on TV after every episode to fill time, because like I guess I don't know. You go back and watch Pokemon anime, and you're like, holy crap, they were just like saving money in every possible way that they could by just putting in filler. And the PokeRap was one of the best types of filler ever. But it was basically just like they would wrap the 150 Pokemon, but they would only do it like 30 Pokemon at a time every episode. So like
awesome.
1 week you'd hear like 30 Pokemon wrapped, and it was like it'd be like Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like it was very.
That's
I
the
mean,
actual
it's definitely a
order,
product
too.
of its time.
Dude, what if PokeMalone gets on stage and does that, but for all 700 Pokemon?
That would be amazing. I'm pretty sure that there have either been official or fan made versions of the PokeRap, which have all of the current Pokemon included.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that would be definitely possible and cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
So Valheim.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me just set the stage. Valheim is a survival game, which I mean, like, could mean anything, but it's been a while since a good survival game has come out, and I'm a big fan of survival games, and they were like a dime a dozen back when Minecraft was making its like debut because everybody was trying to cash in on it. It's very similar to like the battle royale thing where PUBG like blew up, and then everybody's like, I gotta make a battle royale, and then Fortnite came along and like kind of everybody had to double down on it. But I was never into those kind of games. Always been into like survival games, and you know, I think everybody kind of like stopped making them after a while, and somebody decided to make a new one, and it's actually really, really good. And I don't know what else is there to say about it. I mean, it's kind of like Terraria. It's more like Terraria than it is Minecraft because there's a clear linear progression system that's tied to bosses, which Minecraft doesn't have. Minecraft is just kind of like once you find diamonds, you've done it. You did it. You win the game. Now go and build, and it's more focused on building. But like Terraria, I think like the building comes at a necessity rather than like aesthetics, right? I haven't really played a whole lot of Terraria.
I haven't either.
Oh, okay.
That's just
I
what
thought
I've
maybe
heard.
somebody could confirm. Anyway, I've heard that that's the major comparison game that you can make.
Yeah.
But it's like it's 3D and it's like got these like low poly yet like it's weird because like if it didn't have the lighting effects that it has in the game, then it would look way shittier. But because the lighting
you
engine,
told me it looked like a PS2 game.
yeah, if you strip away all of the lighting effects and all of like the particle effects, it looks like it came straight out of PS2. But
Interesting.
because they have like ambient occlusion and friggin' chromatic abrasion and like all of these like modern way of lighting games, it actually doesn't. It makes it look like
Dynamaxing, Gigantamaxing.
yeah, it has all of these fancy words that are basically like it has really good lighting. So like the game actually looks very nice, but if you like zoom in on the textures, like it's very, very low poly and very low quality, but it doesn't really matter that much. I've never really cared that much about like graphics. In fact, I've kind of lowered the graphical settings on my game so that I get better FPS. So it clearly doesn't really matter. But the cool part about the game is that it's kind of punishing and it is a very large world and it's very immersive. Like they've done forests very well, which are like the main area of the game is like forests and exploring forests, and I've never seen a game get forests right as well as this game. Like the forests feel real. It's very hard to describe, but maybe you can help, Matt. What do you think about the forests?
I think my favorite part about the forests is they have trees that I can cut down and build things. That's
astute
all,
observation.
That is all I've done. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm actually I know a bit because we've been playing it two very different ways. You've been playing it single player, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we, on our Discord server, we have a server that one of our friends put together, and my friends have been kind of just binging the game, and I'll jump in occasionally and I will build stuff at our base, and they'll be talking about doing what you're saying, like they're bosses to fight, and they're talking about like the builds they're making with weapons, and they have all this fancy armor. I'm like, yeah, I got this hammer. I'm gonna build a lighthouse for us, or I'm gonna go build a bridge. There's like portals. Have you built a portal yet?
Yeah, I've built a couple.
Yeah, like
Just to
I built
get far distances. Yeah.
Yeah, like I built our second base. But
Uh-huh.
every time I've tried to go out and do the other stuff, there's like stats that it's kind of like Morrowind or like Oblivion where you get stats for just doing things. So like you will level up
Yes.
jumping by jumping and running by running
It's
and so
like
on.
Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim. I think it's the most similar to Skyrim. I think Oblivion did it differently, but
Okay. Yeah, it's like that.
it's very like simple, but it's the most effective progression system that I think you can have in a game, which also makes the game good. Is that the more you do something, the more your skill in that thing will go up. So like it just kind of happens naturally that just whatever you start doing and whatever you like to do, like you'll just get good at it. So it's a lot less picking, choosing, and just kind of like more playing the game, which is nice. Although I wish that, and maybe this will come later because I forgot to mention this is an early access game, but it does not feel that way at all. I think the only point at which it might feel like an early access game is like literally at the end game. Apparently they haven't figured out a way for the game to end yet, but literally like I think less than 1% of people have gotten there yet because it's very, very long.
How big is Valheim
It's like,
in terms of popularity?
oh, it's huge.
I think 1 million sales in a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like
What's the pedigree? Is it like some studio that's done some
No.
really dope stuff in the past?
it
or?
blew up.
Coffee Stain published Deep Rock. That's all I know.
Oh, Deep Rock Galactic. Oh,
But that's
it
the
kind of looks like that.
That's the publisher, though.
Yeah,
They're
this
both,
interesting.
well,
this-
both games are made in Unity, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
From what I
That's cool.
knew,
That's really
this
cool.
studio is an indie one that just kind of like they
Yeah,
released the
Iron
game
Gate.
this week and it blew up. They weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah,
It
it's
is-
cool.
A rags to riches story, and I hope that more people play it. So,
Can you have like a big server with like 100 people on it, like you can with like games like Rust that are really big right now?
I
I
think
don't
you
know.
can have up to 10 people on one server.
Yeah,
Although
I
I might
think
be
it's
wrong
10.
about that.
Well, see, I'm not sure because the server client's actually like really janky right now. I've heard 10 multiple times, but in my server browser for ours, it says 64. I don't think that's right though. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
is 10.
Is this a game that would benefit? Like, would it be fun if you had like? Because I really enjoy watching like Rust. I haven't played it at all, but I enjoy watching like streams and whatnot of it. Would it benefit from having that kind of model of like a huge map where you could have
Like
like,
a
PvP
PvP?
zones and PvE? Yeah.
I think that
Is it that kind of game?
that it can be that kind of game, and they have it implemented in the game where you can turn on and off PvP, and you can also turn off the ability to see your character on the map and stuff like that. So I think that they have that idea in place where they're just like, it could be this, but it's very bare bones. And they also have items in the game that basically protect your base from being griefed and things like that. So I don't know. I think that they have an idea for it, but I feel like it's probably not going to be to the same degree as Rust, I would imagine, because it's very, very heavily PvE oriented, where it's just like you versus the environment. It's a survival game first, for sure.
Yeah, I hope they do a lot of like open it up to like modding and stuff because a lot of things are
Oh,
very
yeah.
bare bones right now. I mean, granted,
Well, I mean,
it
it
is
is-
early access, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not.
I mean,
yeah, I'm
I
not
would definitely
faulting it.
check back on this game in a year, and I feel like it'll probably be a different thing entirely.
Yeah, I think.
But
this
it's
would be
already
very
got a
good for
huge
Rust,
head
though.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. My my biggest complaint about the game is actually that it's exclusively third person. I hope that they change that so that you can zoom out all the way in and play it in first person.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because I absolutely cannot stand playing third person sometimes. I just don't like it. The camera getting stuck on objects and stuff. And I don't know. It's just not as immersive, in my opinion. Being able to just like see your guy from a distance doesn't
Yeah.
really feel like you're really playing a part of the... You're like in a part of the world, I guess. I don't know.
The fall damage is really severe too. Did you notice?
It
that?
is, yeah. You fall like 2 feet and you take like 10 damage.
Yeah.
Is it like a simulator? Would you say?
It's more
No.
video gamey, but
Yeah.
it's still punishing, I think. You can't starve to death, but there is a huge incentive to eat because it's like where you get all your health from.
Yeah, like you'll be very low on health until you like. There's like a digestion system, so you have to like you can eat 3 different
Yeah.
kinds of food, and it will like raise your health, and you have to constantly eat, so you have to like carry a diverse amount of food with you to like be ready for combat. It's strange. There's also like physics simulation, which is cool. So like chopping down trees is terrifying because if you chop down a tree and it lands on you,
Oh shit.
you'll just like get squashed, and it will also roll down hills. So like I know a lot of this because I've been doing a lot of the base building. So like you'll be cutting a tree and it'll fall, and then you have to dodge it, and then it will start rolling. And like we built our base initially at the bottom of a hill, so we were chopping trees, and trees would kept like rolling down, and as they roll, they'll do damage to things. So it would like hit our base, and you'll see like damage numbers come up, or like things will like break. And yeah, it's like the building aspect's really cool. Like it's really deep, and I hope they continue to improve it more, because there's like some cool parts of it. Like there's kind of physics simulation, maybe not. That's like giving it too much credit, but like, you know how in like Minecraft you can just have like a block float in midair as long as it isn't like sand. You know, you can have like yeah. So in this game, if anything is too far from something that would like support it, it'll break after so much time. So like if you try to build like a giant like floating floor, it will just start breaking because there's nothing like grounding it. And as you build things taller or farther out from like, or higher off the ground, they need more and more supports. Otherwise they're going to like break immediately. So it's kind of like you have to, like I'm building like, on our base, we were right by a cliff, and I was trying to build this big sky deck. So I couldn't just like build it straight out because there's nothing supporting it. So I had to like go down onto the cliff and build these giant beams that would reach up into the sky to support the deck. And I had to keep doing that as things went out. And like, that's more realistic than like how Fallout 76's base building was, which is...
Do you have to like size the wood yourself when you're cutting it to do that?
No, so there's different like pieces. So like there's you'll get like there's different types of wood, and the different woods can make different things, but there's like pieces that you can make. Did you do the Fallout 76 base building?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah, quite a bit of it.
Yeah,
it is kind of similar to that a little bit.
Yeah, but there's like just more, like you have to be smarter, because some things like it'll let you put stuff in places, but it'll just like break if you do it wrong, you know? So like
it's kind of like Rust. I don't know if you've built things in Rust before, but there's like a weight limit, I guess. Like certain things you can't just like build like
is that
a
how
staircase.
It works too? There's weight? I didn't realize that.
Well, like whenever say you build like a wall, and then if you build like a wall on top of that and then just like extend that wall out forever, it won't go, it'll break after a while, because like it's being supported by this one wall, and it can't.
The bottom one will break?
No, the like you can.
Okay. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. The top, yeah. You need. Okay. Yeah, that's how I thought it worked. I was worried because I built some really tall things, and I was like, "Are you telling me the entire thing is going to collapse?" Because
no. As long as it's like all based on one, it needs like support that's connected to the ground.
Yeah,
and that support it has like a certain radius around it where you need to put more support in order for the more things underneath that to be supported. So as long as it's all connected to the ground, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It kind of does work like that a little bit in Rust. So
okay,
it's similar to that. More so than Fallout 76, but it is similar to Fallout 76 in that like it's mostly just snapping things, and you can or can't you can just refuse to snap things together. The thing I do like about this game's building mechanics that isn't in Fallout 76 that I was always really frustrated with is that you can clip like things into the terrain, and it just lets you do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's nice.
It's that's what I was saying. Like this building system is better than Fallout's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's a little.
It just works.
It just works.
It's a little bit bare bones compared to like more established like options than like Rust, for instance. But I have a feeling they'll probably add more building pieces. Like for instance, I've really wanted so far. I've been building a lot of like really elaborate buildings. And it's missing an upside. You know how there's that triangle piece that you can pair with like a slanted roof?
Yeah.
Like I want that, but upside down, so that I can make the opposite of that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that. Also, there's no flat roof. Kind of lame.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too.
But I mean, it's early access. They could easily just add something like that eventually.
Yeah, I hope so.
Me too. I think they will. Because, like, if anything has shown me that these kinds of games, even though they're indie developers, like, can really shine, like, games like Risk of Rain 2 and Deep Rock Galactic have really shown me that, like, indie games who have, like, a great idea and like, a go-get-'em attitude with their game, like, those games can be, like, better than most AAA titles, for sure. So I'm excited.
Like Hades?
Yeah, exactly. Like Hades. Yeah. Like those kind of studios, like I feel like are more or like almost better situated to handle like an explosion of popularity versus like a studio, like a major studio would. So I'm excited. We'll see where this game is in a year. I think it can really. There's a lot that can be added to it, but it's just like super obvious stuff that like, yeah, why wouldn't they? You know. So we'll see.
Yeah. You know what I just realized? Speaking of a year, I think this is a year of pod, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think like a year ago is when we started it.
Are you sure?
I think so. It was February. It was
Wow.
before. Oh wow! It was before the
Yeah,
pandemic.
right around PAX East
Oh yeah. Okay.
last year. Wow.
Damn.
Wow. Well, how happy? Yeah, February 6th, guys. That was the first episode. And Dane, you were first on February 24th, so it's almost been a year.
Damn.
Wow.
Really? I was a part of it that early. For some reason, I always felt like I was coming in late. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was like
No, Dana, I saw a comment on our last podcast where someone was like, Dana is a guest so often, he's basically the third co-host. And I agree. Like you've been.
It definitely
with us
feels
pretty
like
much
that
since the beginning.
Definitely, yeah. I think I'm just occasionally not here. That's the real situation.
and occasionally
Yeah, it's been a
not
great year.
Gus either.
Yes,
One
true.
time. I was getting 4 wisdom teeth pulled out on the same day.
Oh, big whoop.
I'm gonna Okay, so I'm gonna get like a Vocaloid Dane and then record my own podcast with a Vocaloid Dane. Not tell you guys, publish
the hell
it.
is a Vocaloid Dane?
Be back in the game, like a Hitsune Miku, kind of like a
Okay,
It's
that
Sony
makes,
what,
that
dude?
makes
For Dane.
absolutely no sense. What did you just say?
Hatsune Miku.
What is that?
Isn't that how you say it?
What the heck is
What?
that?
It's like a Japanese Vocaloid pop star where it's like a robot.
Oh yes,
Singer.
Hatsune Miku, of course.
Oh,
Did I say it?
I don't know. I don't know what
Blue-haired-
you're saying. I'm giving you shit.
Really? I'm not that
Hatsune
familiar with
Miku?
it. Is that how you say it? I'm not super
I don't
familiar with it. It's
know.
like a blue hair. Okay.
I don't know what you're saying. You're making up words.
You guys are gonna seem so silly in the comments. People are gonna be roasting you. Everyone knows Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. Japanese people probably.
Or weebs.
Well, I don't know. That's not true. A lot of people are weebs, so there's that.
No, but like Vocaloid stuff is really popular right now. It's like
I've never heard the Vocaloid sounds
Vocaloid?
like something like so you call somebody.
Yeah.
You fucking Vocaloid.
No, I
You
think it's
little
just
nerd.
like a technology that is.
Yeah, I've
Isn't
never
that-
heard
don't
that.
they call
I
those
don't. I don't know.
VTubers?
I'm just surprised you guys don't know anything about it.
I
'cause
am
thought it
too.
was pretty
I am
popular.
too. I mean, you'd think I would have heard it by now, but I've never heard anyone use the name or phrase Vocaloid before.
Maybe I'm not very familiar with it, so maybe I'm not referring to it with the correct nomenclature.
Maybe.
Please let us know down in the comments below, above, or wherever they are. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I wish that I was more on top of it, but that sounds awesome to get a Japanese version of myself. And
Well, it's not a Japanese version of you.
I
It's a robotic.
No, I'm just being dumb on purpose. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid.
No, I was all on purpose. I was just being an idiot on purpose, and they don't. Yeah,
Were you trolling me?
I was just trolling.
What the heck?
I know. I'm a troll.
Well, it's been a good year, fellas. It's this is a cool thing. Cool podcast. We have a podcast.
It's cool that
That's so
people
gross.
listen in on our weekly or bi-weekly just like meetups that where we talk about things. Because that's what it feels
Yeah.
like. It doesn't even really feel like a podcast to me. It feels like we're just like, hey, you want to get together and talk? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very, very loose structure to all of this.
Yeah. Very loose.
You wrote down also that you wanted to talk about something called the sound of metal. Did you just want to talk
Okay,
about the concept of the sound that metal makes when it's struck by a hard object, or because
Well,
I think
no,
it makes
okay,
more
so,
of a
you know-
clang sound? What do you think?
Hey Dan, can you shut the fuck up for a second? So, so the sound of metal. I just, last week we ushered in the based age of the podcast. And I was thinking, we could kind of pivot into maybe like an ASMR channel, kind of just talk about sounds that we like.
Like metal.
No, I'm just kidding. No, okay, Dan. So flashback about 2 to 5 minutes ago, you were trolling me.
Yep.
Right back at you. This is me trolling you. The Sound of Metal is actually a movie that I watched and I liked.
Oh, I had no idea. I was being
Yeah, I
totally
didn't
serious when I said that I wanted to talk about the sound that metal makes.
I hate the sound that metal
Oh.
makes. It hurts my ears.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Sound of Metal is available on Amazon Prime. I had heard good things about it, and I have this group of friends where we do like a weekly movie night over Discord, and we watched it the other day, and it was really cool. It's with Riz Ahmed, who
Lizzo?
was in Rogue One. It's starring Lizzo. It's about just being yourself and being the best you that you could. No, The Sound of Metal is about a heavy metal drummer who's on tour with his partner, girlfriend. They're like a metal duo. She's the singer, guitarist, and he's the drummer. And they're on tour, and all of a sudden, they're just like packing up some merch at a show, and he becomes completely deaf. And the movie is kind of just about him dealing with that, like the very realistic.
Wait, can that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the science of it myself, but in the movie, he goes to a doctor at the very beginning, and they're like, yeah, we don't know what happened. We don't know if it was because you, this movie has kind of like an A24 kind of vibe to it. If you're into that kind of thing, I'd recommend it. But yeah, he goes to the doctor. Doctor's like, yeah, so all we know is that you have about 25% of your hearing capability. We don't know why exactly, but there is a surgery you can get, some sort of implant that will restore some sense of hearing. But like right now, you really just need to kind of figure out how to maintain the hearing that you have, because it's rapidly deteriorating. And the main character is an addict, and he ends up at a kind of like a home for people who are deaf and have struggled with addiction. And the movie is about him there and like where his life goes from there. It was really cool. I had never seen a movie that dealt with that kind of subject matter before. And I also recently, in the past few weeks, started listening to some metal. So it just felt kind of timely in my life that this movie was kind of out. And it's not that much. You guys should just watch it. I don't want to say too much about it. But that's the basic premise of it. Have you guys heard of this?
No,
I've never heard of it before. Not even once.
Okay. Yeah, it's the director's first movie. Darius something, I want to say the director's name is. It's on Amazon. It was getting some buzz. I thought it was really good. It was cool, kind of open-ended, thoughtful. It kind of felt like it had some pacing issues, but I feel like maybe that's just a nitpick I have with like most movies. Yeah, check it out. The Sound of Metal. You guys, I mean, like you two definitely. If you want to watch it and let me know what you think, we can talk about it. But our audience as well. I feel like it's not a movie that got a ton of hype, but I thought it was really worth a watch.
Okay, all right.
Down.
You know, a movie I will definitely put that on my list and check it out. But you know what movie I want to watch soon, because I've been hearing good things about it, is Framing Britney. Have you heard about that? It's a documentary.
Is this the Britney Spears thing?
Yeah. Britney Spears.
Yeah, I've heard about this on a bunch of podcasts, but I haven't seen it myself.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna check that out. So if you guys also watch that, then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Is that on Hulu?
Yes.
Where's that?
It's on Hulu. So
Hulu. Okay, I think I have Hulu.
You better have Hulu. I mean, how else are you supposed to waste $11 a month and not watch anything on it?
I'm pretty sure I still pay for Shudder, so that would be how.
I see.
Do we got any Shudder heads in the audience? If any of y'all
raise your hand
are into Shudder still, honestly, I would be interested if there are new Shudder movies coming out that are worth a watch.
Otherwise,
but
not gonna check it out. Not gonna keep.
I'm
not gonna keep subscribing. I mean,
I might. I like supporting the idea of supporting like a channel that's only pretty good horror movies with an emphasis on pretty good. Like not a ton of great stuff there, a lot of good stuff. But hey, I'd be interested if it was really worth keeping up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could also just check it out in a year.
Yeah, I could. Dan, you should watch WandaVision.
Why?
I think you
have so many. I mean, I just watched. Well, not just, but I watched all of Ozark. I watched all of it.
Hell yeah!
And
that's kind of the next thing that I need to like fulfill my promise of watching.
And I watched all of it, and I didn't. I mean, like it was all right, but do I feel like I spent my time? Well, not really. I could have just watched Breaking Bad.
I think there's only like 2.5 hours of WandaVision.
Every episode's only like 20 minutes, so it's pretty quick. But I mean, if he doesn't enjoy it, then whatever. I'm sad he didn't like Ozark though. I thought Ozark. I liked the character, the blonde girl. She was like the best part of the whole thing. Huh? The mom? Or the younger blonde girl.
The one that cusses all the time and has like a funny accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the only good part of the show, in my opinion. The rest of the characters are pretty boring. But I mean, like, it was there were times in the show where I was like, man, nothing's happened in a while, and then something finally happens, like right when I'm starting to think that. So I think that they have like a good way of spacing out interesting plot points, but I don't know. It feels like the show is just trying to be a different Breaking Bad, and I don't know if that's just because I really like Breaking Bad a lot, and I know that there's probably not going to be anything better than it, and it's hard not to compare the show to Breaking Bad because it has the same kind of concept. But I don't know.
Breaking Bad is definitely better. But if you want something that's worse, but still and decent,
yes,
it's good.
That's yeah. I wasn't blown away by it, and there were certain parts of the show that I did like, but overall, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that I would call it a show that I would recommend, I guess. I don't know where to put it. I'm so like lukewarm on it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I give people like not a hesitant, but it's like, if I know I think they'll enjoy it, I give them you should check it out. But for people, there is no world in which I would ever recommend this show over, I don't know, many other things.
Yeah.
Especially Breaking Bad, which I might just go rewatch again. I don't think I'll ever rewatch Ozark, but I will definitely rewatch Breaking
exactly.
Bad.
Yeah.
Dude, the scene.
That's my feeling on it.
That scene with I love getting to this point when I rewatch Breaking Bad with Hank and the two Mexican twins.
Yes.
When they're coming for him in that parking lot. Dude.
Oh, yeah, dude. That seems awesome.
Oh, my God. It always gets me. It always gets me.
When I watched the show for the first time, in my mind, I was like, Hank, this is where Hank dies. Like, there's no way he's ever going to survive this. And then, like, he literally gets shot. And I was just like, okay, well, Hank's dead. And he somehow survives it, and like that in itself is crazy. But like, even when I go and rewatch it, I always think to myself like, wait, is this where Hank dies? No, it's not. Because it's just so like they do it so convincingly. You're just like, he is so fucked. There's like no way, because they built up those twin characters like over the entire season
so well too.
Yeah, where you're just like, these guys are like the Terminator. They're gonna fuck up anybody who gets in their way. And
dude, I think the way they open that season, where those two cousins are like crawling through the desert towards that like shrine to kill Heisenberg or whatever.
Yeah,
man, that's cool.
Yeah, they really are they're like the twin Terminator.
Yeah,
it's great, and I love their their backstory with Tio Salamanca and yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Ding.
Oh yeah, Salamanca is like one of my favorite characters in the entire series. Probably like S tier for me. S tier Breaking Bad character. I still have to finish the final season of Better Call Saul.
Me too.
We should do a tier list of some sort at some point in the future.
I'm down.
I've definitely made tier lists of Breaking Bad characters before.
Yeah, we should do a Breaking Bad tier list character or character tier list.
All right, sure.
We should do a Breaking Bad breakfast.
Well, Skylar's F.
List.
I'll just say that.
Okay. We'll get to that.
All right.
But yeah, I agree. Okay, one other thing I wanted to very briefly just tease before we end the pod: the Matrix 4 trailer. Go check it out.
The Matrix 4 trailer?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else.
Wait, is it
Matrix
out?
4 trailer. But this has been the Motion Pixels podcast. I'm your co-host, August Meyer. August, say goodbye. Goodbye.
You fucker.
Matthew Rawlings. Matthew, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
My co-host. And joined once again by the based and baddest boy of comedy, Dane Kevin Cook. Dane, say goodbye.
Bye.
Because this has been the Motion Pixels podcast. End theme song.
I'm finished.
Shout out everybody playing baseball.
I was totally kidding about Matrix 4, by the way.